Good afternoon. Tom Ginn here, G-Force. G is for gratitude. One of the most powerful words we can incorporate in our life. It separates our visions and our whys in life. It gives us a different sense of energy. So G-Force stands for gratitude. Today, I'm excited to introduce a young man that I met about 2 years ago, and we have become friends and colleagues. And his story is powerful, and so I think it's important to hear about Terrel Hunt. So, with that all said, I'm going to introduce you to a friend. He's also a mentor to me as well. So, I'm going to introduce you to Terrel Hunt.
Hey
Terrel,
Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you're here today, Terrell. So, what I'd like to do is just start out today as share with us your story. Maybe a little bit how we connected and what we've been doing there a little bit, but about your journey in life.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a former quarterback at Syracuse University,
Yep.
and myself being a football player, that really intrigued me. We talk in same terms many times when we do talk, so we have some common grounds there. And we're going to just hear about your message, what you want to leave the audience here today, and some of the goals and the things that you have planned for yourself in life, your trials, your tribulations, your wins in life that you have right now that can help somebody. So we'll just let you start from there. Just where are
Yep.
you from?
Yeah, so I'm Terrell Hunt, born and raised in Queens, New York, to a lady named Katrina Hunt, and my father's name was Daryl Dockery. I I actually met Tom. Funny, I was searching for a mentor, and I was probably at the worst place of my worst. I was probably at the worst place of my life at the time. And usually they say that's when you find God. I guess I found Tom. God put Tom in front of me, and it's been wonderful. I learned so much from you, Tom. The books you suggest me to read. I don't know if you noticed, but every book you tell me to read, I have read so far, and I haven't looked back since. It's been amazing. It's been amazing to actually learn from you, and just learn from the teachings that you have taught me and the connections you have. And just, I feel a better person. I feel that I'm going in the right direction as I planned. And then also just, I feel like, we became very close friends. And I tell you a lot of things that I don't even tell some of my close friends that I've known for years. It must be the gray hair and the wisdom that I seek after. But yeah, so I was born and raised in Queens, New York, to my mother, Katrina Hunt. And growing up, it was pretty not tough. My mom made it easy because she knew what she wanted in life and she knew what she wanted for me out of life. My only job was to go to school, get great grades, and then play my sport, whatever that was that I chose. At the time, it was skiing, baseball, basketball, and then football came on later. It wasn't until I want to say I was about 11 years old that my dad really wanted me to push for basketball. So he actually got me a scholarship to a prestigious high school, Christ the King Regional High School. One of only two schools that's sponsored by LeBron James. So we were really, really good at basketball. But I played football at the age of 8 years old, and I knew that I was in love with football, and I knew that my dad was in love with basketball. So he didn't want me to play football, but I was significantly better than everybody else that I played against. And in basketball, I was really good as well, but the love for it just wasn't as there as much as it was football.
Yeah.
So I went on to high school. I played basketball for Christ the King. Regional High School. I also played football there as well. When I was a junior, well, in my sophomore year, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, ovarian cancer, and she passed away shortly after that when I was 16. My dad, on the other hand, he was he was around. He was a very tough love type of person. I would score 30 points in basketball, and he would say, yeah, you missed this layup, you missed that pass, you could have had 40. So he was that type of father. But I say that to say this is my dad lived on a year and a day later after my mom passed. My mom passed away January 31st, 2010, and my dad died February 1st, 2011. So literally a year and a day apart from each other. They were not married. They weren't together. It's just the way that my situation played out. So for me, it was really tough because my mom never got to see me graduate high school. My dad never seen me graduate high school. And I remember one thing my dad told me. He said, "I'll never tell you I'm proud of you until you make it." I don't know what make it means, but I thought, okay, I got a full scholarship. Now you can say he's proud of me. And I knew he's always been proud, but like I said, tough love. And unfortunately, I signed my letter to Syracuse on February 2nd, and he passed away on the 1st. So it's a lot of things that, for as Tom knows, for me, that I accomplished that doesn't feel as exciting and as fulfilling just because those people who I want to go and tell afterwards aren't here. But I did earn a scholarship to Syracuse University in my sophomore year for football, and countless of other schools as well. The reason I chose Syracuse University was because my mother actually, that was the only school she was able to see because she was sick and couldn't travel as much, so that was the closest school. So she was able to see that, fell in love with it, and the rest was history. So I went to Syracuse University, and I loved it.
Yeah, Terrell, knowing that you lost your parents, and I can't comprehend that as a young person. I can't even fathom how that impacted you. But still graduating from high school, so many kids and so many people just fall apart. And what was it besides your passion and love for football to keep driving forward? Because I know that's important. Love what you do. That's the key, and go after your own passions. But what was, besides your parents and what they instilled in you, what was the foundation that pulled you over to the other side, keep moving forward to get your high school diploma, get that scholarship, going to school? What was the support behind you? What was the thing that support people around you? Who were they?
Well, my aunt, she was a huge support. My brothers, my grandmother, all of them were a great support, and I thank them entirely for it. But honestly speaking, the one thing I would say was me. Um, Growing up, one of my friends lost their parents. He actually didn't lose his parents; he lost just his mom. But that was enough for him to go down the wrong road, and I saw what it did to him, and I vowed to never let that happen again. Instead of being a pity party, I chose to be an inspiration to a ton of other people. And for me, I think it was the fact that my mom instilled so much into me as far as being strong and taking care of business. And she was always the one that she would never let me see her weak. Or like even on her deathbed, I would walk into the room and she would use all her energy to prop up, fix her wig, and smile, act like everything was okay. And even to the time that she passed away. So that story. So I was in a hospital, and at this point, my mom couldn't really talk. When you have cancer, if anybody knows, after a while deteriorates, and then it takes away their functions to do anything, to speak, to but they can still comprehend because their brain understands, but the functions aren't the same. So I went there. My mom, it was just really stressful. So I remember she defecated on herself, and I just ran out of the hospital, and I was just running, and all of a sudden a gust of wind just poof, like literally surrounded me, leaves surrounded me, and I just stopped. And as soon as the gust of wind just left and the leaves dropped, my aunt called me and said, "Get back to the hospital, get back to the hospital." I run to the hospital, my mom was dead. Um, for the longest, I couldn't understand why she would leave when I wasn't there. But then, like I said, she never wanted me to see her weak at all, So it made sense that that gust of wind was kind of like goodbye, baby, and give me a hug before she left. So I think to answer your question, it was really my mother. Everything she instilled in me, decisions that I make. I wonder if it will make her proud. Actions that I take, things that I do. Literally, it was my mom. Everything that I do, still to this day, is to impress her kind of.
Wow. That a lot about your character there. And, going back to my statement of gratitude is that, focus on all that gratitude that she left you. It's made who you are.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit about your football. That was your passion. Your dad wanted you to play basketball, so I'm sure there was always contention about
Yeah.
that. But you went after your passion, your goals, and your dreams. And in our conversation, I know you had some aspirations for even at a higher level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you were anytime you play in Division One, and especially in the ACC, you're a cat of a different breed. I tell you, you guys, that level of football separates you from everybody else. So being a quarterback and then starting, tell us a little bit about that experience. Who were some of the people that influenced you there that gave you some good disciplines and good focus? Because I believe sports probably creates more value on how to win in life, how to work as teams. Share with me a little bit about your football, maybe your high school, maybe your college influences, about
Mm-hmm.
coaches and mentoring and how they shaped and molded who you are today. Influence that.
I would say that definitely coaches and mentors helped a lot, but I would say that everything I went through in life kind of shaped me for it. Coaches do a great job. Don't get me wrong. One of my coaches, Coach Lester, my head coach, Scott Schaefer, my Pop Warner coach, who actually turned me to a quarterback, who just called me 2 minutes ago, Dennis Dorenza. They definitely played a great role as far as football and basketball coaches, Artie Cox, Greg Renko. Um, the one thing I would tell you is for parents at least, I always would put my children, if I have kids, into sports because for me, sports have taught me more about business, life, running a company, running a team more than school class. And when I say that, people usually laugh. But if you think about it, accountability, working together with people from many different backgrounds to bring them together for that. Countless and countless of attributes that I can kind of give towards sports. I'll tell you a quick story. So it was my sophomore year, and Ryan Nassib, who was the backup for Eli Manning on the Giants a couple of years ago, he was a starting quarterback. He leaves, so now I'm thinking, okay, this is my chance to take over. I asked my coach, Coach Hackett, Nathaniel Hackett. He's now the OC for the Green Bay Packers. And I remember like
Oh, wow.
yeah, cheese eggs. So I asked him, and I said, Coach, now that you're leaving, it was me and Charlie Lowe. And Charlie Lowe was ahead of me. He was a senior when I was a redshirt sophomore. Great individual. I love him to death. Even though we competed, he always took time out to teach me. So I asked Coach, I said, hey, Coach, what do you think about me starting next year? You think I could beat Charlie out? He goes, I don't know, T. Hunt. He goes, I don't know. It's going to be tough. He goes, I doubt it. I go, thanks for your honesty, but I'm going to beat him out. Long story short, I beat Charlie out. And I'm going to be the starter. In comes Drew Allen, great guy, super big, 6'4", 6'5", dude, got an arm, could throw 80 yards, coming from Oklahoma, doing his last year there. So, it's Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma football. So everybody in Syracuse is all excited for this guy. So now my head coach, Scott Schaefer, becomes now the end of training camp. And he brings me into his office and he says, hey, yeah, he goes, so we're gonna start Drew. And I told him, I said, that's gonna be the worst decision of your career. And he said, for your sake, I hope it is. And for the team's sake, I hope it isn't. So, anybody else in that position probably would have just went into their shell and just didn't want to speak to anybody. I use that to fuel me even more. So when everybody else was asleep, I would go down to the football facility at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep. Ever since my mom passed, it's just been tough to sleep. I go down there at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would just envision myself with the crowd, with my team, and I'm the one at the helm of the quarterback position. And I would do it every night. And by the second game, I got in, scored a touchdown in a minute and like 1 second. They take me out, put Drew back in, he throws a pick, and I finish out the game. The next game, by the third game, they said, listen, we're going to give Drew 3 series. If he doesn't do anything, you'll come in and we'll see what happens. Ever since the third game, I was started. And never looked back. And we ended up, I think, beating the team by 40 points. And that was my sophomore year. We went on to win a bowl game. It was a little rocky, but we ended up winning. I won the MVP. I broke Donovan McNabb records. Did the whole 9 in 1 season. We come back the next season. I'm the talk of the town. I end up breaking my leg in the 5th game against Louisville. And then rehab, I work out with the top quarterback guru. Really just all I have to do is stay healthy and go to the NFL. I come back my senior year, first game of the season, torn Achilles. And that was a tough one for me. Because, you take a kid who's 16 years old who loses his mom, his dad, really all he knows, and he dives into this sport because when you're on the field and you're playing basketball, nothing else matters. Your girlfriend could have left you. You could have just failed one of your tests. Someone could have just beat you up. Nothing else matters when you're on the field or the court. It's literally like you're in your sanctuary. And now, fast track, I'm now 21, 22. And that one thing that I've been diving into since I was 16 is now taken from twice, back-to-back years, without any reason or any explanation. Like, there's no reason for it to happen, And for me, I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I was literally stuck. And that was when I kind of really realized, all right, do I really want to continue to play football? Because at the end of the day, you're really just a glorified worker. Now, don't get me wrong. Anybody would love to be in that position because you make millions of dollars doing it. Publicity, you can get endorsement deals. But at the end of the day, did Robert Kraft ever play football? Because he owns a team. And for him, it was an investment opportunity. So then I started thinking, do I really want to be a worker and play for the team? Or would I rather be the owner and hire players to play for me? So I think that's what really helped. my mentality, honestly.
Can I make a comment here? And I've learned from you on a number of occasions, and that's one of the benefits of being a coach. It's a two-way road. I think we both can grow together. But you made a comment about when you went to your coach and said, "You think I can start next year?" And then you went down at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, did your drills, did whatever, visioned, and that was a key word you said, is visioned an outcome that you expected. How powerful is having that in your life, having a clear picture of an outcome you seek, vision?
At the time, I didn't know because like you're so young, all you want is that one goal. So you're just working towards it. You're just, but as I got older and started talking to you and realized it's very, very important. And it's funny because it's one of the most important things in business and life and everything you do, but we're not taught it in school. We're not taught it by any teachers, by really any curriculum. And it's funny because not one of my favorite people to listen to is Jim Rohn. And I
Yeah.
read one of his books. It's called The 12 Pillars. I actually cried. I actually cried, Brenda. And if you read it, you'll understand. But I cried because the person who's been teaching him the whole time actually passed away. And it kind of hit home because it's like, what's he going to do now? And it's like, he's in that same position I was in. But one of the things he says is, normal education, I think normal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And ever since then, listening to him, because when you're in your worst moments of your life, that's when you usually find out who you are and you seek out other answers. Sometimes it may not be the answers you want, but it's the answers you have. And while I was seeking out and listening to these people, he was one that really, really stuck with me. And vision is a huge, huge, huge thing to have. If I didn't envision myself every night down there playing in front of thousands of fans and winning the game, diving to the end zone, throwing a touchdown, who's to say if it would have really happened? Because I envisioned it here first, and then it played out. Steve Harvey always says, I don't know if he said it, but he took it from somebody. I think it was Einstein, but he said, "Your dreams are just life's coming attractions." So ever since listening to those guys and being obsessed with self-education, being obsessed with growing as myself, I would say that really saved a lot. It really saved a lot of time. I would say I wasted time, but I also saved a lot because educational wise and mentality, I'm a lot further than the average 27-year-old.
And I can testify to that myself, just getting to know you over the last couple of years, and your dreams were shattered. In many ways, your legs was broken, your Achilles tendon, and it just caused you to look at things differently. Correct me if I may not correct on this. So you graduated with your degree. Did you get a postgraduate degree as well?
Yes, I got my master's degree in a very long-winded title. It's called Instructional Development Design and Evaluation. So it's basically everything that goes into a business, everything that goes into a program. If you have a business that, let's say you run a pizza shop and you're not making sales, I will come in and evaluate what's happening, and then I'll create a program for you to follow and then boost your sales. But it's really a wide range, and you can use it a lot, but more catered towards business.
Okay. And so you took your degree, and of course, knowledge is, without knowledge, we can't grow. And you've used that, and and I know you have some lofty ambitions as far as where you want to be and what you want to contribute to the world. So I'll let you share with that a little bit. But what are you currently doing? What are some of the things since you've graduated and exploring the world, finding out who you are? what passions you have about what you're doing. Share with everybody a little bit about your diversity in what you do.
Okay.
Just okay.
So the first things first, just to backtrack, like you were saying, as far as my lofty goals. So here they are. I have two of these in my wallet, and I also carry a check that's written out for myself. And I touch it, I feel it, I imagine myself going to the bank and cashing it in every day. But I'll read you my goal. So I'm so happy and grateful now. I got that part from Tom, by the way. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am worth $10 million.
Your mic went off.
Sorry. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am worth $10 million by January 31st, 2023 by 10 p.m. in exchange for these sales and providing the best customer service ever rendered. The reason why I chose $10 million, my favorite number is 10. And I figured if I could get 10 million, I could turn 10 million into 100 million. All you gotta do is multiply by 10, so that won't be too hard. The reason I chose the date 1/3/1/23, it was 5 years from when I wrote it, so I wrote it in 2019, I believe. And 1/31 is obviously the day my mom died, so I decided to choose the worst day of my life and turn it into the best one. And 10 p.m., I gave myself to the end of the day because I was born at 10 a.m., so I figured, why not do 10 p.m.? But ironically, when I add up the numbers 1/3/1/2/3, 1 plus 3, 4 plus 1, 5, 2 plus 3, 5. Yeah, 5 plus 5 is 10. So unknowingly, I basically wrote out my life goal at by 2023, and it's going to happen. Everything is in line, and it's already mine. And then the other thing I carry with me, which I also got from Tom, is my name is Terrel Hunt, and I'm attracting good, great, and wonderful things into my life. Money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis using the law of attraction. $100 million. It is mine. I own it. I love it, and it is finished. I read this to myself multiple times a day. And, some people have asked me, like, oh, why are all your goals about money? And it's not about the money that I'm going to get. It's more about what I'm going to do with the money once I have it. So right now, I'll tell you a story. So fresh out of school, mind you, as a D1 football player or basketball player or D1 athlete in general, everyone thinks it's amazing to be a D1 athlete, which is true. The problem is that you kind of get jipped out of a lot of things that you're going to need outside of the sport. So I've never done an internship before I graduated. I've never really worked because my job was to get good grades, like my mom said, and continue to work in your sport. So coming out of college for the average athlete, you don't know what you want to do. Because you take these kids who aren't from the best neighborhoods, who aren't from all the opportunities around them that is now, and you put them in this rich living situation for 4 years. They get accustomed to it. But then after the 4 years is done, they go back home to some of them who live in terrible areas, some of them who live with parents who don't really care, situations like that. And then you tell them, okay, you got a degree, now go make something of this. So for me, who doesn't have degrees, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't know who to ask. I didn't know anything, so I tried doing it all. I did valet, I did plumbing for Local One. I worked for Stryker, a medical device sales company. I sold liquor and beer for a beer distribution company. I'm now selling life insurance, real estate as well, commercial real estate. I did it all because for me, I I didn't want to sit behind. And I say this with all due respect, but I didn't want to sit behind a desk and feel myself dying every day. And some people may take offense to that, and I don't mean it offensively, but for me, the type of person I am, I carry too much inside of me to work for someone else and have them reap the benefits. And don't get me wrong, it's been a tough road, but I know that through all the failures and lessons that I've learned, it's gonna pay off a huge amount in a couple of years. So all my friends joke on me and say, "You got the most jobs of anybody I know." And I tell them I'm just more versatile that way. So while you're working on one job, I'm over here working on five. Yeah, you may be getting paid every week, but like Jim Rohn says, profits are better than wages.
I
And
love it. Yeah,
that's
I love it.
my favorite quotes. And actually, what made me think of that is, well, I was working at a job and I was doing phenomenal, as you know, Tom. I was doing really well. I didn't do the job the way that my manager wanted me to do it. At the end of the day, I got better results than I would have if I did it his way. And I was released from that job. And when I asked them why, they didn't have an answer. And then I said to him, I said, "Is this job all about numbers?" And he said, "Yes, absolutely." I said, "So what are my numbers?" He said, "The top of the team." I said, "So why am I getting fired?" He didn't have an answer. The real reason was that the guy didn't know how to really tame me and put me in a box. And because I didn't fit in any box, it scared him. So what do you do when someone scares you? You protect yourself. You get them out of the situation, and that's what happened. And I vowed to myself to never rely on one source of income and be in this position again. So if something happens with this job, it's okay because I have four other sources coming in. And it's not as easy as it sounds, but the life lessons that I learned and where I want to go, it's important and imperative that I go through this stage now.
Yeah.
And the hardest part is, when you want to talk to people in your family about it and stuff like that, but you realize nobody in your family has got to the level that you see yourself going. It's really hard to talk to them about it. So then you seek out other mentors, you seek out other people. And that's how I came across Tom. And I was looking through Bob Proctor. And, I actually reached out to Bob Proctor, and then his people showed me Tom. One thing I would say, if you're an athlete or even a college graduate, graduating college, especially right now during a pandemic and these situations, when you get out of college, don't let your parents tell you what your life is going to be, because your parents' job is to basically prepare you for life, not tell you this is what your life is going to be. A lot of times, often, kids rely too much on their parents. Like I have friends who live in Manhattan, and maybe mid Manhattan or so wherever it is, but I know rent there is at least $1,000. And when I was younger, I was so jealous. I'm like, how would they able to live there? And it's because their parents helped them. And then I would find myself getting jealous, like, man, I don't have parents that help me. But what I realized is I'm way more prepared in life than they are. Because when you have a something to fall back on, you always rely on it in a sense. I forgot what general it was, but when he took over one of the islands, it was called Burn the Boats. And basically what he did was he made his army burn the boats because now they knew it was either we take over this island or we die. There is no going back. There is no other way. And you'll find out when you put yourself in a situation like that where you burn your boats, you always come out on top. You always find a way.
Yeah.
So for me, I think burning the boats as a college graduate is something imperative to do in your self growth.
Yeah. You said something there about don't let you said parents, and that's just part of the formula. I mean, our parents are doing things from their best intentions and love and protection and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's don't let the culture define who you are. Don't let your friends define who you are. And I think some of the things, and you turned me on to Dr. Miles Monroe, It changed how I looked at setting goals and the future expectation with vision. And you have tapped into that, and I've seen it in just the time I've known you and seen you grow in that area. So the message I think you're sharing out there is people is get to know who you are and why you do what you want to do.
Hmm.
Because we're culturally get a good education, get a good job, and ultimately, many times, most people aren't satisfied. It's not what they want to do. So you're still exploring,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
But I know you have some passions, and I know you have some big goals because we've talked about them. But what's the one thing that you growing up in New York, and I can't comprehend, I'm a California guy, but New York's as big as California, New York City by itself. I can't comprehend the
Yeah.
bigness of an inner city. But what was I going there? I just saw Mike Lance jumped on. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mike, for jumping on. And Diana. These are people that know Terrell, and we're all associated in business one way or another here. But having that big goal is so important. Trying things, fail forward. As
Hmm.
you said, success only comes with those that are willing to try and fail because you learn something from everything that's out there. So I know that growing up in a big city, growing up in a culture of within your culture, a lot of kids look at athletics and that's going to be their ticket out and all things. We've had some conversations, but what's one of your missions? I think, and I don't know if you're still going to call it the next play. Is that still? Tell us a little bit.
Nah, so we ended up changing the name a little
Okay,
bit.
okay,
So basically, the idea came from, like I said, when I graduated. Um, so me and my buddy, we just formed LLC. It's called Good Choice Productions, GCP.
okay.
And we're in the process now of speaking with the world and getting things all together. But basically, what I realized is that we're trained to look at the media and the athletes and you have to be this way and make it out of your neighborhood. You got to be a rapper. Or you got to be this, but they never talked about being an owner, or being a doctor and creating your own practice. So what I realized is that when you get out of school, there's one, not really much help they give you, if very little than any. And then two, you train these athletes to be on this path for 4 years, some of us 5. When you get out of school, it's now, okay, now you got to create your own study, you got to figure out what you want to do, and you got to stick to it. But we don't know what we want to do. And I don't know if you know, but Tom, but being an athlete is one of the biggest fraternities and sororities in the entire world. If you meet with somebody who's a former D1 player or NFL player, you instantly connect like this. Even high school, you instantly connect because you know what it is to go through the trenches and go through the tough times, and you instantly connect. And it's like, oh my God, you went to Georgia Tech? Oh, we played you guys up. And now it's boom, now you're best friends. It happens to me every time I travel. If I see someone who played a sport, we talk, and now we become friends. So what I realized is we have this huge database, but we're not using it. So kids growing up, there was this documentary I suggest everybody should watch. It was about Stephon Marbury. And at the end of the documentary, he says to this kid, he's in a barber shop, and this kid he goes, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the kid goes, an NBA player. He goes, oh yeah, how do you plan to do that? How do you plan to get there? And the kid is thinking for a second. He goes, I'm going to take the train. And it was so funny and innocent, because here's his idea that he wants to be an NBA player. How he plans to get there is to take the train. It's so innocent. So Stephon Marbury replies, he starts laughing. He goes, why don't you try to be the president of the United States? And the kid face went blank. And he really didn't know how to comprehend it or what to respond back. So then Stephon Marbury says to him, he goes, nobody's ever told you to be the president of the United States? And the kid with a sad face said no. And Stephon Marbury started crying. And that right there is a huge example as why I want to do this, why I'm creating this nonprofit organization and a mentor to kids, because like I said before, I don't even know if Robert Kraft ever played a down of football in his life or in the NFL. But he owns a team that wins countless and countless championships. Now, if we would train kids to be owners of whatever it is that they want to be while they're playing the sport, it would be that much better. The thought process would be different. If I was raised on, you can own an NFL team that you could play for an NFL team that you own. My ideas and the way I moved and the decisions I made in college would have been significantly different. Even the decisions I made in high school would be significantly different, because when you tell a kid you can be an owner of something and you teach them how, you walk them through, you tell them, hey, listen, you gotta try this, you gotta try that. Now, subconsciously, they're getting a goal in their head and they're working towards that goal. Just like we said, when you envision that goal and you work towards it, 9 out of 10 times you usually get that goal. So what I realized is that in our culture, we broadcast the guys who made it, but only I want to say 98.5% make it to the next level. Yeah. I'm sorry. 2% make it to the next level. 98% don't. So what happens to that 98%? Nobody ever focuses on it. Nobody ever shines light on it unless it's he could have been great. You know, it's like, oh, whatever happened to Plaxico Burress? He shot himself on his leg. He could have been great. Oh, what a dummy. But we don't focus on what is Plaxico Burress doing right now with his life. Carmelo Anthony went to Syracuse. And I remember the media was all over him. Carmelo can't get on that team. Oh, he's terrible. Blah, 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 blah. But Carmelo Anthony owns hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate in New York City, and nobody talks about it. Why? Why doesn't anybody talk about that? Because they only want us to focus on the sport. So my idea, which I'm going to do and make it my life goal, is to shine light on how much real estate Carmelo owns. Shaquille O'Neal owns over 137 fast food restaurants. But people don't know that because they only know Shaq for dunking basketball. But what about Shaquille O'Neal that's a business owner? What about Shaquille O'Neal that is with Papa John or that insurance, the general insurance commercials that he's always on? You know, nobody talks about that. So what I want to do is sit down with these individuals who are in the NFL, who aren't in the NFL, who are in the NBA, who is not in the NBA, so on and so forth, and talk to them about their business model. Talk to them about what they're doing with their money. Talk to them about, you know, maybe do you have an internship, or maybe you have an opening where you can hire one of my former teammates to come work for you at one of your companies and learn how it operates. So then he can use his money to now invest in something like that. It's something that's a common idea, but nobody talks about it. Nobody wants to act on it. So for me, I'm going to be change the whole athletic world and change the mindsets of thousands of athletes that think that their sport was the only way to identify. And the one thing I want to touch on is depression. It's huge amongst athletes after you graduate. Me, myself included, I went through it. And it's something that needs to be discussed and fixed. And nobody cares to do it. The NCAA doesn't give anybody to talk to. So I'm going to be the person that shakes up the whole world. And hopefully the NCAA will want to work together with me on how to change this culture.
Yeah, wow. You know, you made a comment, we're not trained to be owners, right? You know, we can extrapolate the very thing, but I think from my perspective and what I know of you, in that part of the ownership is you have a goal, something is tangible, it's yours. But I think the ownership is owning your magnificence, that you have unlimited potential, and don't let that be robbed from you. Own that, because when you own it, they can't take it away from you. Nothing. The value that you place on yourself is probably one of the most important things we do. That's ownership. When we own that, we become the masters of our world, and we get to define it. Isn't that a beautiful thing, Terrell? Is that sort of what you're looking at? Is that
Yeah.
ownership of self? And
I got to ask you a question, Tom. What's the most expensive place on the world?
the cemetery,
Yep.
the wealthiest place in
Wealthiest place.
the wealthiest place is the cemetery.
Yeah.
So because so many people leave their magnificence, they don't go after their goals, their dreams, writing the books, whatever, and they die with regrets. And there's a wealth of more wealth there than any wealth that's ever been created before them, because we all have magnificent talents and something to give back to the world. And and I know that's what your mission is, and you're going to influence a lot of people. You're influencing me, and that's I have to compliment you on that as well. So
yeah. So one of me and my brother were arguing last night while we were watching the debate about Trump, Biden. The whole time we're watching the debate, we're debating, right? And one of my friends goes, "Oh, it's going to be a communist country," so on and so forth. But I said to him, I said, "There's a law and order, right? There, everybody's not meant to be a boss and to be an owner. Some people are made to be workers because of their mentality. Some people are okay with just going to work, getting their money from someone else and taking care of their bills and living an okay life. And that's fine. You don't have to have a ton of money to be successful. You don't have to have a ton of assets and a ton of nice cars to be successful. But success is a mindset. If I'm happy with $10 million and you're happy with 100,000, you're still successful, because in your mind, that's what you see success as. So what I had to realize was that not everybody is the same as I am. Not everybody wants to read books. Someone told me, if you ever want to hide something from someone, put it in a book. And that's why in prison, they hide contraband in books, because nobody takes the time out to read them. So what I realized is, Les Brown said, the average person, the average American reads one book a year, if that. So what I did was, I heard that, I started asking my friends, how many books you read a year? None. How many books you read a year? Maybe one. How many books you read a year? Maybe one. So what I started doing was getting better friends, because I realized that I was surrounding myself around people that are those one book a year people, which is 99% of the world, of the country. So how do you become a 1%? Read the books. And all the people that I want to kind of be like and have that financial freedom, they wrote how they did it, but nobody reads it. That's all I have to do is just read the book, and then not only by me reading the book does it work on my vocabulary, but it works on my confidence, and it gives me new ideas. I got to start keeping track of how many books I've read, but I went on a trip to Mexico last week, and I read 2 books. One being GPS Your Success, as you told me to read, and then the other one was The 12 Pillars by Jim Rohn. They weren't a huge book, but either way, it was something that allowed me to think differently, allowed me to come out of that book with different ideas and different mindsets.
yeah.
So the one thing I would say is, reading books saved and changed my life, because it allowed me to know what I want and surround myself around people that I want to be surrounded around. And then also the people that I can't get into contact with, like Jim Rohn, who passed away, Les Brown, who is still here, but it's kind of tough to get in contact with, Bob Proctor. I figured.
Well, you know what, Terrell, you never know who's going to see this. You put the right energy out. You never know where it's going to go, and that's one of the things I want to encourage people. And I'm just sorry to interrupt you, my friend.
No, it's fine.
I lost something here. Just share this out with people, because Terrell has a great passion for what he's doing, and he has a vision to help people. Um, and the only way we can help people is just pass the good news around. That's what we can do. And success leaves clues. You're already at Terrell. What's the age again?
27.
27. Man, I look back at my age 27. It was a disaster, my friend. I don't even want to go there. It was ugly. I had disappointments and hurts, and I won't even go there. That's a whole different story. It's about you. But 27, already picking up success clues and putting to work, because the message here is success leaves clues. Just follow what other people do.
Mm-hmm.
And
what is it? Stand on the shoulders of the giants that came before.
Yeah. So that's wisdom from a 27-year-old man. So that hopefully that'll get some of us old farts that are out there to say, you know what, maybe I should pick up a book, or get some of the young guys and gals that are out there say, you know what. There's somebody I want to learn from. There's somebody I need a role model. I need somebody that can direct me, give me some guidance. Oh. And it's through your self-study and knowing who you are that you can contribute back to them and give them the little nuggets that you're talking about today.
Yeah, before I forget, the other very, very valuable thing to have is a journal. I didn't understand what that was, and I guess that's why women are smarter than us, because they have diaries, and that's basically a journal. But having a journal and studying yourself and seeing how far you've come, and then not only also that, when you write it down, you realize what's needed and what's not, and writing it down also makes it real. So having a journal, I realize, is one of the major things for an individual who wants to be successful to get.
Yeah, this pen is called Genius. It unlocks our greatest potential, and it makes it clear, because we think in pictures, and I'm doing a little bit of coaching, a little bit of that, but the power of the pen and writing it, because it really solidifies in your mind what that outcome looks like. And it causes you to do things differently, look at things differently, think differently, and then take different actions. So it's so important to know that. And it's just like I just watched a training thing from Grant Cardone. And he says, know your goal, write it 3 times a day. 1 sentence, 2 sentences, whatever that goal, whatever, losing weight, a monetary goal or whatever. He says you write it when you get up in the morning. You write it at another time during the day. It could be noon. It could be middle of the day. And the third time you write your goal is when you have a disappointment. Because we have disappointments every day. We don't get the sale today, right? The appointment canceled on you, or they said no. Mm-hmm. A friend of yours said, what, are you crazy or something? You're going to do what now? Right? You get the disappointments, and frustrations. That's when you write your goal again the third time. And those that do it, guess what they end up doing? Accomplishing them. So that's some of the things I've been learning and teaching, and I'm glad to see you to understand how powerful this is. Genius. So congratulations. I hope that sticks with some of us old farts out there and some of the young bucks out there and young ladies, or whatever we want to go there, that your influence. So Terrell, with regards to this, the bigger vision, the foundation, the nonprofits you're setting up, what type of people do you want to draw to help support you? If you don't ask, you never receive. So who is it? What type of person are you looking for that can contact you to say, hey, I want to know more. Maybe I can contribute some way or another, or I know somebody. Mm-hmm. Why don't you share that
yes.
ask?
So the good thing about this is that it's not something that's regulated. So it's not like by state. So literally anybody who is in contact with schools, charter schools, principals, college campuses, it's literally for, I cater it towards athletes because I'm an athlete, but it's literally for any individual who wants to meet people and wants to learn more and understand that it's more to life than what the media portrays to you. That's one thing that I advise all college graduates to do is to spend less time on social media because it's so social media is like a drug, right? It releases endorphins when you get a like, when you get that thumbs up by somebody. It releases endorphins, and it's the same endorphins you get when someone gives you a hug. It's the same endorphins when you have sex. It's the same endorphins when you win a championship game. So that drug that you release is so addictive as heroin or crack or cocaine or whatever drug is meant to deteriorate you. So just like that same addiction will deteriorate you. That's why you see kids tattooing their face for likes and doing these crazy, crazy things for likes. And what it subconsciously does is it makes you evaluate your life based off of somebody's highlight reel. And it's a terrible, terrible thing. What I realize is that through my research, one of the guys who created Facebook, not Mark Zuckerberg, but one of the 6 or 5 people that he had helping create it, they don't even have Facebook. They don't even use it. So how is it that the creator of this mass multimedia billion-dollar company doesn't even have what he created? And it really opened my eyes that, as I'm scrolling on his page and I'm looking at people who do this and spend time here and do this, you start to feel like, man, I'm not doing anything with my life. What's going on with me? But it's only because these people aren't posting their failures. They're not posting everything that they failed to get to then get to this level. So that's one thing I would say. And then the other thing is, this is more catered toward anybody who wants to be successful in life, whether it's successful at being a mom, whether it's successful at being a daughter, or whatever it may be. This is catered towards people who, just like myself, went through tough times and are looking for someone to lean on, to teach them things like this, to teach them, hey, pick up this book and try this book out, and then let's talk about it. And then the 12 pillars, that was one of the pillars that he taught them to do. And oh man, I don't want to ruin it, but it's an amazing book. And it really made me cry. And I don't cry often from books, but that was a good one. Just because of the guy who's teaching it, he's a gardener on this beautiful, huge mansion, right? And he's teaching this guy who broke down in front of his house these 12 pillars of success. One of them was reading a book. The guy said he hasn't read a book in years. He was making $40,000 a year, and he didn't know how to make more money. He was stagnant. And this custodian, I guess you could say, he taught him a ton. And in the book is so many secrets, just like as in other books. Another one is Think and Grow Rich. The Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Right now I'm trying to learn how do I leverage credit to then create assets. This is something that nobody in my family has taught me before. And they're not to blame because nobody taught them. So it's like a lot of our parents, sometimes kids get upset, like, oh, why didn't my parents set me up better? And they set you up as best as they could because they were never taught. They never got the opportunity to learn. So this is catered towards, yes, athletes, but anybody who wants more out of their life.
Great. Wonderful. Wrapping up here, Terrell, I am just so grateful to know you. Seriously, from my heart, and what you shared today, 27 with a wisdom of I'm not going to put a number on it, but
Yeah, don't put a number on
we're not going to put a number on it. Someday when you get gray, at least I can, at least I can look like I got some wisdom, right? I mean, the color of the hair and the beard, could be demonstrating that. I appreciate your comment about that. But life, learning creates wisdom. Trials and tribulations, taking risk, assessing it, stepping back, being grateful, working from a place of heart creates wisdom. And it's wisdom that we're expressing in this world. And as we grow, our wisdom goes and grows. I think I just created a new frame. I'm gonna capitalize on that one and trademark it. So, what's that?
You gotta write it down in your journal.
Yeah, I already forgot about it. That goes with this gray hair, So, Terrell, you'll have to remind me. We can cut the proceeds on that, so we'll make a business thing out of it. But anyway, no, seriously, that you bring a lot, and I hope those that are here that will see this share it out. One message may cause somebody to look at their life differently. And draw questions. I believe questions are the most powerful things that we can do because it causes us to step back, reflect at things, and then if we apply gratitude, no matter what the difficulties are, because even in the struggles, trials, tribulations, losses of our loved ones, we can, with gratitude, see the greatness and the power and what they have given us in life. So, anything else you want to part with here today? You gave us a whole lot, and I'll have you back because I know you got a lot more in your journey here that you can share. But any one thing, Terrell, that you would like to share with anybody that's listening here today?
Yes. So I was traveling to Virginia. It was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. Stopped off at a pit stop. But one of the things that I saw was from Thomas Jefferson. It was a quote they had in the Will. And I'm going to leave off with this. It says, the key to success is to always try just one more time.
You can't leave better than that. Try one more time. Because you're guaranteed failure if you don't try one more time, right?
Absolutely.
You're guaranteed failure.
And not Thomas Jefferson. I'm sorry, Thomas Edison said it.
Yep.
And as we know, he tried thousands of times.
Yeah.
And we're still reaping the benefits from his, failures and success.
Okay. Well, Terrell, again, with gratitude for having you here today, I'm going to just isolate you here, and I'm going to sign out. Just stick on for a few minutes afterwards. We'll just wrap up any details we got going on here. But thank you again. You're awesome, young man. And someday you're going to have this. Okay, you already got this in your heart and your mind. So
I hope I don't bald before it.
Well, that comes with age too. So that could be that could be another identifier for wisdom. The lack of hair too, right? It's all perspective. So we'll have. Thanks, Terrell. I'm going to just put you on hold here.
Later, guys.
Okay, that was Terrel Hunt. Not only is he, some we run across, and you never know what the universe delivers when you ask. And it's been an honor to get to know this young man. I look forward to seeing his journey and the impact he's going to have in life. So today, gratitude, the most powerful word that we can incorporate in our life. Be grateful for all that we have. Be grateful for the things that we don't have. And be grateful for the struggles and trials and tribulations that we have, because it gives us a new perspective of how to live our lives. With that all said, we are signing out. Have a great weekend. Thank you for being here.